Good morning. I'm Dr. Dre. I'm an OBGYN, bariatrician, and certified weight loss coach. And I want to welcome you to week 16 of A Better Way MD TV. I'm on a 60-week mission to help you learn how to lose weight for the very last time. Now, last week, week 15, we took a detour from food and I talked to you a little bit about alcohol and creating kind of a protocol for the rest of the year. And I'd encourage you that if you haven't done that and you want to cut down on your alcohol consumption, that you go back and review that video and give it some consideration. But this week we are jumping right back into food, and actually this week and next week is a two-part series on what I call the spiral. And the spiral is basically where we eat off plan and it's not planned, and it's the feeling that drives most of it is this out of control feeling. So we all create the thoughts that create the feeling of being out of control. And so I can't narrow it down to your all's thoughts, but I can help you see what some of my thoughts are. And I break the spiral down into three parts. The first is the day spiral. The second is the week to month spiral, and the third is the death spiral. So death spiral I'm saving to week 17. Week 16 is all about the day spiral and what I like to now call the holomonth spiral. And I can't take credit for that term. A friend of mine used it and I'm stealing it. So holomonth it is. But let's go to day spiral. So day spiral is basically where you've been on plan, you eat off plan, and your brain immediately goes to something along the lines of, F it, I've blown it, I might as well eat all the food. And you do. And your brain also gives you that little bit of out, like we can always start tomorrow. So whenever my brain creates this thought, I like to think about one of my favorite singers, Michael Franti. He has a line in one of his songs that says, "It's never too late to start the day over." And when my brain offers me that it's like I've blown it or I might as well just throw it all away, I just remember this song, and it gives me a sense of empowerment as opposed to feeling out of control. And that's kind of the way I get out of the day spiral. I also know that there are certain times that I'm more prone to doing this than others. And I would encourage you to really look at what those situations are that cause you to do that. So for me, sometimes it's my social anxiety creates that desire to do that. Sometimes I actually kind of forget I'm on plan and I eat something and then I'm like, I just blew it. I might as well do it. So yesterday I was out shopping and I ran into my sister-in-law, and she was basically distributing like free samples of this really tasty bread. And I popped a piece of this beer bread in my mouth before I even thought it. And I then had to deal with my brain for the next hour or so telling me that, oh, you know what? I ate that piece of bread, so let's go have a pizza. But I remember my Michael Franti lyrics and I was able to nip that in the bud. Because what happens is it sends us on this circular path or a spiral, depending on where you are in that. And your brain offers you can start over tomorrow, but what happens is that you don't start tomorrow, and the next thing you know, you end up with a week spiral or a month spiral. And I think that the month spirals are really common around holidays, like your birthday, or for me it's Halloween. But if you think about it, we have a holiday every month of the year. If you include your birthdays or your kids' birthdays, you will find a reason to have a holiday almost every month of the year. So if you treat every holiday like it's a holomonth, you're going to end up in that whole death spiral where you're completely off plan. So what I'd like for it to offer you for this is to know that when you're prone to this. So for me, Halloween, my kids' birthdays or my husband's birthday, I don't do it so much with mine, but my family's birthdays I like to really celebrate. And then of course the end of November through December holomonth has always been a big one for me. In fact, I sometimes think I use the holiday as an excuse to eat all the things, all the food, because I didn't want to feel restricted. I didn't want to feel like I was not celebrating or not being involved with all the other festivities that people were. But when I realized that the food really doesn't have anything to do with the holidays, then it makes it a little bit easier for me to realize that it is just 1 or 2 days, and I can limit my food intake to those 1 or 2 days. So the big takeaway from this is prevention. Figure out what causes you to do the day spiral and be on the lookout for it, and have your own catchphrase to get you out of it, so you're not constantly telling yourself you're going to start over or start on Monday. Then if you catch yourself doing that for holidays, figure out which holidays really drive you to do that behavior, and then make a plan or a protocol around that holiday. Figure out what are the foods that you feel like you have to eat. What do you have to drink? Like, figure out what is really important too about those special days that you're celebrating. And remember that while food may be part of it, it's not the reason for the holiday. All right, so day spiral, week or month spiral. And the other thing I would also like to offer to you is this little mind trick that if you are off plan, you create a rule or maybe even a protocol for yourself that the very next day, no matter what goes on, you'll be 100% on plan. If you do that, that really will keep you out of the longer term spirals. Okay, so that's what I've got for you, that out of control eating that is typically triggered by a thought about either scarcity or out of a sense of wanting to belong or a sense of not wanting to be different. Those can all create that spiral. Now, next week, I'm going to talk to you about the spiral that sometimes we find ourselves on when we basically just climb right off of our plan and go right back to the way we were eating, and it tends to result in a lot of weight gain. And I'm going to tell you some actionable tips on how to try to get out of what I like to call the death spiral before it becomes the actual spiral. All right, that's what I have for you this week. And I hope that you are able to sit down and realize that whatever holiday you're celebrating, it does not have to be about the food. That's just one small portion. And focus on the remainder of what makes that day special to you. And also remember, it's never too late to start the day over.